Hello and welcome to Gameaholicspodcast episode 4. I am your host, as always, Kickler. Here with me today is my lovely co-host, Archer. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here.
Dude, this is episode 4.
Oh, it's getting deep.
That means we have been podcasting for an entire month.
One whole month, guys.
How does that make you feel?
It's pretty crazy. It went by real quick.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we got another mic. So,
as you can tell.
Yeah, so me and Archer should be coming through clear as day. And we're not having to worry about recording on one mic and having to fix everything in post. So this will make my job a little easier.
Most definitely.
And I have an arm attachment coming for my mic, so we'll be able to sit back and relax when we record. And we're just chugging away, trying to make this the best quality content that we can possibly make it. This week, we're also adding a new segment. Archer, tell everybody about this new segment.
Guys, it's Beer of the Week. Every week, we're going to try a different beer. We're going to tell you a little history about it, tell you how we like it. You want to add anything to that?
Not really. I think we should just go right into what we're drinking today.
So today, we chose Blue Moon, very popular beer. Blue Moon was originated in Denver, Colorado. It was originally called Bellyside Belgian White. And it was created by Keith Villa at the brewery Sandlot at Coors Field. So that's pretty cool. Launched in 1995.
And the flavor that we picked for today is the honey wheat. How many different flavors did they have?
Oh, they had so many. I didn't really count them. A lot of them are retired. But I noticed they had like an October one that was a pumpkin ale, which would be pretty cool to try.
I'd be down for that one.
Yeah. And, this is we've only tried the regular one and the honey wheat, right? I think I've tried a different one.
I've only tried the two. I definitely like the honey wheat better in the bottle, but on tap, I love the Belgian white. That thing is bomb.
On tap, that is the greatest thing you'll ever drink.
And now that I've tried that one on tap, I really don't know if I can go back to bottle on that one. It's really hard.
I agree with you. 100%.
Anyway, dude, it's been a while since I've seen ya. What have you been playing this week, if anything?
I've been playing the Call of Duty 2v2 Alpha. It's awesome. I've never played a beta, and this one's before that, and I know there's a lot of lag and a lot of bugs that they fixed throughout. I haven't really noticed any.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me a little bit of that last night, and I really liked the graphics were amazing.
Yeah, they look way good.
The guns felt good, and it felt like a polished Call of Duty.
It really did, and I'm super surprised. And beta hasn't even dropped yet.
Yeah.
The alpha is, I think they extended it to tomorrow. I'm not completely sure, but if you have a PlayStation, download it, give it a try.
And that being said, it is strictly to PlayStation, right?
It's the alpha exclusive. Is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
The beta will be for everybody. I believe you have to pre-order it, but beta is open for everybody.
Okay, cool. We'll have to keep everybody updated on that.
Played a little bit of Rainbow all week,
like
all
always.
the time. Yep, nothing new to add to that. There's new operators coming out here soon. I don't know if they dropped yet. But they look pretty. One of them looks stupid and one looks really good. And we'll get into that probably next week when I know what they are.
All right, cool. I've been having a little bit of gaming ADD lately. I don't know if you're looking at the notes, but you can see I've kind of jumped around a lot. The game I keep coming back to is Murphy's Law. We kind of talked about that. That's the Mexican style piñata game and everything. I really enjoy it. I'm getting kind of skeptical with how well the lobbies are. So every time I load into play, doesn't matter if it's morning, afternoon, or night, there is a guy named Russell on. And I don't know if this guy just plays this game 24/7 or if it's auto-populating with bots.
I believe it would probably be auto-populating with bots.
But the weird thing is they act like humans. So one of the challenges this week was butt rocket for X amount of kilometers or whatever. And pretty much everybody would load into a match and butt rocket up and down in the air for, 5 minutes of the match. Like if somebody didn't go out and start fighting, they would just butt rocket up and down because it was an insane amount that we had to do it. But this Russell guy would do the exact same thing. So it's kind of weird. Either the bots kind of learn and adapt to how the other players are.
I mean, we've played a game that is similar, like that has a AI learn from you and thy neighbor.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Sometimes he's not there, but 9 times out of 10 when I play, he is. So I don't know. If Russell is listening, hit me up somewhere. I really want to talk to you because it's been a lot of fun. But I'm really enjoying the game. I wish it would pick up. It is still a little laggy. It still is, not a complete polished game, but I really enjoy it. And it's kind of my guilty pleasure game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the horror stories you told me about it when you first started playing, I'm pretty sure that turned a lot of people off.
Yeah, but this new update's fixed a lot of it, and they've added some new game modes, and it's a lot of fun.
That's good.
I've also been playing Wolfenstein New Order. This is the first of Bethesda's remake in the Wolfenstein games. And it's been a lot of fun. I posted one video on Instagram. I don't know if you saw this one. Sure. This robotic dog jumping onto this guardrail. It scared the crap out of me. I had to pause the game and take a breather for a few seconds. It got me so bad. But I'm really liking it. Comparing it to Metro that we both kind of looked at. Mm-hmm. It's so much better. It's an older game that looks better than Metro does. And it handles well. I mean, the storytelling isn't stellar, but it's good. I really like it.
Yeah, that other one's ass.
Yeah.
I had a game to add, actually, that I forgot to put.
Okay, go ahead.
When you mentioned it scaring you, I actually played the PlayStation VR, and it was Resident Evil 7. Ooh. Dude, it was insane. Like, play a horror game in a VR, that was wild. It scared the living shit out of me multiple times. It was so much fun. I'm gonna get a PlayStation VR here soon, but you spend basically just as much as you spend on the console.
Yeah.
It's insane, but they're well worth it.
I'm hoping that with PlayStation 5, they'll make it compatible. So if you end up getting the PlayStation VR, hopefully it'll work with the new console.
They fucking better.
Yeah, if you're
$300 for not working with a new gen console.
But I've heard really good things. I've never actually used one, so I'll definitely have to come over and use it.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything wrong with it. It was all clear, and I'm sure some of the games would make you sick, but that's expected with VR.
I'm sure if you played like on an Oculus or something, you'd notice the difference and be able to kind of tell that it's not the same or not as high quality. But if this is your only one, I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah.
Really cool. The only VR experience I have was with a Samsung phone in the Samsung VR. Mm-hmm. It was cool, but it was so blurry that it really didn't make it feel like it was VR type of thing. I've also been playing the Outer Wilds game. I'm pretty sure I'm one run away from beating the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I've played it a lot. I'm kind of to the point where the game is annoying me. But everybody that I've heard that has played it says that the ending is well worth it. So I'm going to push through and finish it. I keep getting eaten by these anglerfish. That's not really a huge spoiler, but it's been kind of annoying. But once I figure that out, I think I'm right at the end. I could go back through and figure out all the rest of the story and everything, but the controls are kind of difficult, and I'm just kind of getting to the point where I'm ready to move on to a new game. But it's a really good game. It's so different than pretty much anything else that I've played, so it's nice.
I've had a game, Red Dead 2, the controls are so whack. Mm-hmm. That just makes me not want to play it. And I love the game, but the controls are terrible.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
They made it so that it felt more lifelike. I think that's what they came out and said about it. Another game that I've been playing, I picked up Dark Souls Remastered
I
for
played
the
Dark
Switch.
Souls before.
And I'm getting my ass cheeks clapped. That game is so hard. I don't even know. Like, the main base skeleton guys are kicking my butt. So I'm going to keep chugging away at it. I'm still at the first area. Like, I got past the tutorial, but I haven't made it very far other than that.
Okay.
And the last game that I've played is Gears Pop.
What is that?
So it's the new mobile version of Gears of War.
Oh.
So have you heard of the Funko Pops? They're those toys with the really big head and really black circle eyes and everything. It's really weird. It does not need to be Gears of War, but with it being Gears of War, I'm sure it's populated by a lot more people.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Clash Royale. Clash Royale, you defend 2 towers and you're king by placing units down, and the units go off and just auto run to the enemy, basically. This is the same thing. You're defending 2 towers and your main person, but you capture cover. There's 3 tiers of cover, and if you capture both the left and the right side of that cover, you can place your units further up on the board, basically. And it's either the one that's taken out the most towers at the end of the time, or the first one to take out the king or the main player or whatever. I'm still in the first area, just collecting characters. I think it dropped on Thursday. I downloaded it the day it came out just to kind of experience it. I'll stick with it because it's good. And those other games like that, I always regret not sticking with them because I come back to them 6 months later and I'm so behind everybody, and that's when they're good. So I think I'll pop in and no pun intended. I think I'll pop in every once in a while and just play some matches and everything because it's good. It doesn't need to be Gears of War related. Let's move on into the news. The first line of news, if everybody's heard, there's a lot of controversy with Sony right now.
Lots.
They're holding back Spider-Man from the Marvel Universe, and they also just bought Insomniac Games, which is the game developer that made the new Spider-Man game. They've made some other games that are Xbox exclusive or cross-platform, but now they're going to be a first-party Sony developer. So it's going to be really interesting as to what happens.
I hope that they come to an agreement because, like, Spider-Man's like the face of Marvel right now with Tony Stark gone. Spoiler alert. Sorry if nobody's seen that.
It's been like almost a year.
But yeah, like, Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. Like, how are you gonna rip that away? And the blame's not all on Sony, but it's on Disney as well for letting that happen too.
Well, Sony owns the rights, and the contract is up, so they're trying to
get more money. Yeah,
they're trying to get more money, but they're also trying to come to an agreement, and Sony's gotten kind of greedy, I feel like.
They're also trying, because they're not just trying to get the money aspect, they're also they want to co-finance it as well. They want to put their money into it as well, 50-50, but Sony's not about it. But we all know
the split right now is 95-5 for Sony.
Yeah.
So that is a huge increase that Disney wants to come and take. But I mean, if Marvel Studios keeps pumping out the movies and Sony just basically needs to say, here you go, why would you not?
You're just not doing anything for all that money.
Yeah, they still get to make the animated Spider-Man movie. They still would get to make the games. And if they keep making Marvel Spider-Man 2 and 3 for the PlayStation, they're going to do great, even if it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
I hope they come to an agreement, but as it stands right now, it sounds like they're kind of just
they're pretty pissed.
Off.
Yeah.
Gamescom is going on, and a new trailer for that Death Stranding game came out. Did you watch it?
Oh, I have not. Is that the Norman Reedus one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is so kind of weird. I don't know about it.
So if you watch the trailers one at a time, you have no idea what's going on. If you kind of sit back and look at all the trailers as one big picture, you'll really kind of get a piece together the story, it sounds like. But the big thing to come out of this trailer is you can pee.
You can pee?
You can pee. And they took a lot of time to show that no matter which way you turn, you don't see a penis. And if enough players pee in the same place, mushrooms will grow.
Wow.
That's it. We don't know what the mushrooms do. We don't know.
Did they just have like a time lapse of people peeing in the same place?
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm just kind of baffled, but at the same time, it's kind of piqued my interest. If they're kind of going that minute with things, I'm curious as to.
They took a lot of time making sure you can't see a penis. Why did they even put a penis in it?
I don't know if they put one in, but they just kind of panned the camera around a lot while the character was peeing, and it just kind of stuck on his back and turned. So
okay.
It was weird, but that's the big news out of that.
You can take a piss in game.
Yeah. No Man's Sky Beyond update came out. Are you familiar with No Man's Sky at all?
Yep. Space exploration.
Yeah, and there's all that huge controversy about it in the beginning, and the developers have really stuck with it and really developed it into a full-fledged game. This last one, they just updated with more animals and stuff, I believe. I haven't jumped in and played it yet. I've played all the other updates and everything.
It's a big game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to restart it and start over with a new character because I know they updated like the tutorials and everything. And I'll keep everybody updated with my gaming ADD. I don't know when I'll get around to it though. Google Stadia had their Connect event. It's like the Nintendo Directs and the Sony and PlayStation do their own version of that same thing. You want to know the funniest thing about it? Stadia's going to be this cloud gaming streaming service. So, you pull it up and through the internet, you play the games. You stream them. Their stream was very laggy.
Their stream was laggy?
Their stream was so laggy.
That's not good.
Yeah, so they're not painting a good picture. But basically, they just came out and confirmed some games that are rumored to be coming to Stadia and reaching ahead, like Cyberpunk 2077 will be coming to Stadia. Yeah. So not a whole lot came out of that event, but like these huge developers and huge games are kind of backing them. So it'll be really interesting to see if that equates to something.
Yeah,
I'm really
they
curious because Google does not have a good track record with sticking with it kind of products like this that are taking a risk. They have the tendency to kind of get behind them and put all this money into it and then just kill it after less than a year.
I really am excited for Stadia.
Yeah, I am too. I've really strongly debated about getting the Founders Pack, and
I actually love their controller. I love the even joysticks.
I'm not a fan of the even joysticks, but the controller does look nice.
It looks like a perfect mix between PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, it really kind of does. It kind of looks like that 8-bit do SN30 Pro Plus, kinda. If you've seen that controller at all, it's like the SNES controller. It's that SN30 Pro that I'm using with the Switch with the joysticks. Oh, yeah. It's that, but with handles and some really nice triggers and stuff. I'm really, really wanting to.
I wonder if they'll sell it for like as they do in the controller, the piece that plugs into your TV, like all in one set.
Yeah, so the Founders Pack is $140, I believe. I could be wrong. I'd have to double check, but it comes with the controller, a Chromecast Ultra, 3 months of Stadia Pro, and 3 months of Stadia Pro to give to a friend.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't think you can double it onto your account. If you could, you potentially have 6 months. But how it's supposed to be is you buy it and then give 3 months to somebody else so that you two can play together. So, and then you would just have to have a Bluetooth controller to connect to something.
So I can use my PlayStation controller.
Theoretically, yes, but we don't know how that's going to work until it actually gets out.
So we both could buy it, and I can give you 3 months, you give me 3 months, and we got 6 months.
Pretty much. But you would have to have a Chromecast Ultra, because we'd have to both have one.
We both buy the Founders Pack.
We could do that and then have 6 months. Yeah, that would work.
We'll look into it and see if it saves us any money.
Next thing, with Gamescom, there was a Pokemon Sword and Shield. I know everybody probably knows that I'm excited for this game. They just did a town walkthrough, basically. Didn't really show a whole lot. It looks really nice.
Is it pretty big?
It's bigger than any other town that they've done, it looks like. So we'll see. There's so much controversy about the game, and it does kind of look just like a high-res version of former Pokemon games. So we'll see. Nintendo also did an indie showcase, and kind of the big three that I took out of it was Super Hot is coming to Switch, Ori and the Blind Forest, which is formerly a Xbox exclusive game, now coming to the Switch, which will now be the second exclusive to be on a platform other than Xbox.
Oh, they're giving Nintendo some rights?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. There's this rumor floating around that they're going to put Game Pass on other devices. So this could be them kind of testing the grounds to see if Game Pass would be good on the Switch. But we'll see how that kind of develops.
There's a Game Pass for PlayStation, like I think it's called PS Now.
But
it's like $20 a month. It's an insane price. But there's like 800 plus games on it. But
depends on how you look at it.
If you play,
I said, if I play 2 games a year at $10 a month, I've paid for it. At 20, you just have to pay 4 big name games a year, and it's worth it. And then I showed you a little bit of this game, Disintegration. It's made by the Halo co-creator. It's supposedly got a really good campaign. It's supposedly got multiplayer. It looks like a cross between a first-person shooter and a real-time strategy game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looks a lot like Halo Wars, really good graphic-wise, and then
but
a mix
you can
between.
Control the character.
But you can control it.
Super cool. It looks kind of more cartoony, kind of like Overwatch almost. That was kind of the vibe I was getting at looking at the trailer.
Yeah, I get that. Overwatch and a little bit more realistic too.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
It's kind of like an up-res version of Overwatch, basically. It's piqued my interest. That trailer really piqued
That trailer was really cool.
Yeah, I'd be totally down to give this a try. And the last thing that I'll go over is The Witcher 3 is coming to Switch. They're calling it Switcher. Apparently, it's not bad.
Really?
It's running at 540p, so it's not technically HD, but everybody that's had hands-on with it says it works, it's not laggy, and it doesn't look half bad on that little screen. They said running on TV, it looks kind of bad, but on the little screen, you can't really tell.
So when you dock your Switch, is it still running that same?
Yeah, it's running on the same device. There's no additional hardware in the dock.
Okay.
It's just outputting. Most games will go from 720p up to 1080p onto the TV. Not all do, but most will. Okay. This one's going to go from 540p to 720p docked. But when it's docked, it's able to pull more power and kind of boost some of the processing, basically.
And they'd rather have it handheld. It looks better.
As far as Switcher goes, yes. But I mean, that's the big gimmick with the Switch. If you're going to play mostly docked, you're probably going to have a PlayStation, Xbox, or a PC anyway.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the Switch is I can sit on the couch or sit on the toilet or sit on the train and play.
Yeah.
So
that's nice. Last but not least, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You can change attachments mid-game.
You were telling me that you could do that in Battlefield.
You can do that in Battlefield, yep.
So I've never played a Battlefield game.
Battlefield, basically, like, before you get into a game, you can't even... Well, the new one, you can mess with your classes, but once you die in a Battlefield or the beginning of a match, you can start changing. Like, Battlefield 4, you had to be in the match and dead before you changed everything. So Call of Duty is adding that, which I think is awesome.
So do you have to pause? Do you have to like pause and go into a menu and change it?
I'm assuming you have to do that because that's the way Battlefield has it.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's pretty similar.
That'll be kind of cool.
Call
it would be really cool if like you could just hit a button and rip the red dot off your gun while you're sprinting down and hit another button and attach a scope. That would be sick.
I know they kind of have they have canted sights. I don't know if you know what that is. So it's like you have a red dot or a scope on one, and then you can just turn it to the side. Yeah. I know they added that to multiplayer.
That's cool.
Which is gonna be freaking awesome. Hope you can do it on snipers. That'd be way cool.
That would be so cool.
That'd be so cool. The recoil pattern in this game, playing the 2v2 alpha mode, is like super satisfying. Like it feels way better than any Call of Duty ever. Like, I don't know. I'm super excited about the game.
We played 2 rounds last night, and I felt like most of the guns felt really good, but there were a couple that the recoil was so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if they'll add attachments or if they'll change that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you hit a guy with one of those guns, you do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Like.
I like that they don't have any health regen in that 2v2 mode.
Yeah, that was cool too.
It makes it a lot better.
Anyway, let's move on into this week's topic. We're going to kind of look at our personal favorite video game genres, talk about them, give a brief history, maybe debate which one is better, and just kind of see where things go. We're going to try and experiment with a little bit of a different format this time. So Archer, take it away. What is your favorite game genre?
You know, I haven't really, I don't have a big gaming taste, but I do love first-person shooter. It's always the one I go back to, no matter what. A first-person shooter is essentially a type of game centered around on guns, different types of weapons in the first person, as if you were doing that. That's what a first person is.
So you say that you always come back to first-person shooters. Are you thinking like multiplayer specific first-person shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield? Or are you thinking anything first-person and you may go into like a Fallout or a Wolfenstein or a Doom first-person shooter?
I'll go into multiplayer. Mostly, yeah.
All right, cool. I kind of cheated with mine. I was originally going to say RPGs were my favorite. But when I started looking into some of the games, I didn't have a lot to say about a lot of them. And I wanted to narrow it down a little bit more specific and be like Western RPGs as opposed to JRPGs or anything like that. But like I said, I cheated and I kind of went with action-adventure games. Action-adventure games are the combination of both action and adventure games. Typically, they'll have a complex story, puzzle solving elements, and can also include wide open worlds typically. So Skyrim would be considered a Western RPG, but also an action adventure game. It's a really wide net. It's considered to be the widest game genre and encompasses many games that may even fit into other categories that maybe they fit better into other categories. So I kind of cheated. And the reason that I cheated is because a lot of the games that I wanted to talk about didn't fit into the same category. So a little bit of history about it is the first action adventure game is considered to be Sega's Jet Rocket from 1970. This is kind of the earliest one that I could track down. It was an arcade game, and I've got a picture for Archer to look at, and I'll post it on our Instagram as well. But it looks really complicated. It's got like flight control gizmos and gadgets on it. It's got a steering wheel and everything. I have no idea how this game plays, but it's from 1970. It's a 3D arcade game combining action gameplay and an open world adventure exploration. For the 70s, that sounds
pretty high tech.
I'm sure the quality of the graphics is garbage.
Oh,
but it looks complicated and it looks a lot of fun to play.
It does.
But kind of where the genre kicked off and really started to pick up some steam and some popularity was with the original Legend of Zelda in 1986. That was kind of the first, quote, open world game out there, I would kind of say, because you can pick your own path. You're not shoved in one direction or the other. You can just kind of explore and do your own thing and find upgrades, and that's it. And I have played that one, so that's kind of the earliest one that I've dabbled into. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. That little arcade game looks insane.
Yeah, it
like, there's so
so
much
hard
going
to play,
on.
but I would be so down. If I walked into the mall and saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I need a few quarters.
Throw a couple quarters at it.
Yeah. What about first-person shooters? You said you had a little bit of history about those.
The first-person shooter on console was Wolfenstein 3D on SNES. It was in May 5th, 1993. The real first attempt at a first-person shooter came in 1973. So that's pretty close to the year you were just talking.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a maze war game that it was on a PC. I'm not familiar with PCs. I don't know if you know what that is. Like the IMLACPDS1.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. And it was installed at the NASA Research Center.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I wonder how that played.
Yeah, it was just like a 3D maze that you can move one tile at a time, and you shoot players that represent like eyeballs. Like they're just eyeballs that you shoot at. And they said it was really clunky, but it was the first of its kind. Nobody ever tried that. It was the first one I ever tried.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What's the earliest first-person shooter that you can remember personally playing? I stumped you.
Yeah, you did.
Mine was the original Doom. I think that I didn't play it, of course, when it first came out, but I think that's the earliest one that I've gone back and played.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say 007 or the old Battlefronts.
Like GoldenEye 007
yeah, like
on the 64?
N64, yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like true first-person shooter games couldn't kind of maximize what they could be until we got that second joystick. Because I don't know if you remember in 007, but trying to aim with that single joystick and the C buttons was awful.
Yeah,
but once we added that extra axis of movement, I think that's really when they started to take off.
Yeah.
So looking at mine, the action adventure games, I would probably say a lot of these games are mostly single player. So this is going to be like your Assassin's Creed, your Skyrims, Breath of the Wild would fall under that. Fable would fall under that. And one of my personal favorites in the genre is Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Wide open world, has a really good story. Enemies kind of populate the world, and you just kind of get to pick your own path. That's kind of the games I usually kind of gravitate towards. So that's kind of why I was thinking maybe RPGs.
Would you consider Monster Hunter an action adventure?
Yeah, I probably would.
That's probably the only one I've ever really got into.
I would also consider that like a Japanese RPG game.
Okay.
Japanese RPGs, I think it mostly has to do with a lot of the like environmental feel and the art direction and stuff like that. More traditional Japanese RPGs are like turn-based, like Final Fantasy, Octopath Traveler, if you've heard of that one at all on the Switch or anything like that. That's kind of where, and like I said, the action adventure is so wide, it's really hard to pinpoint this is only an action adventure game, because most things is this is an action adventure and a JRPG, or an action adventure and a regular RPG. So I hate that I kind of cheated, but at the same time, these are the games that I really enjoy. Uncharted. That's another really good example of an action adventure game. That's more of an example of a linear storytelling. It's not the wide, vast, open world or anything.
It has a map, but you can explore it.
Yeah, but it's mostly like, at least some of the first ones, don't they kind of shove you in one direction and can't really backtrack for the most part?
Are you asking me?
That was
sorry.
a question.
Oh, I do not remember. I was like, okay. I don't remember if they shoved you in a direction. I think they did.
Yeah.
In the first while.
I'm sure that's how most games are. Like Halo, they shove you in one direction in the first game, and that's about it.
That was also one of my first real first-person shooters that I got into was Halo.
I think that was a lot of people's first real first-person shooter.
It was the one that they really figured it out. Not necessarily figured everything out, but it was the start of an era of first-person shooter really coming to life.
When's the last time you've played the first Halo?
That's a good. Yeah, it's like 2006 probably. I don't know.
So I have the Master Chief Collection, And I actually just put it in, and me and Aubrey were playing it a little bit this morning. It is so weird, the button layout. Like, B is your default melee attack. Right bumper is your default reload. X is your flashlight.
Is it really like that?
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
It took like 0.2 seconds to be able to adjust. And the original Xbox controller wasn't the same as the Xbox One. So it was different. Like, I remember them having the white and the black button and everything. And one of those buttons controlled the flashlight.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Wow. But it's just crazy to think about how controls have changed and how kind of default they have become. So, like, in most first-person shooters, I feel like left trigger is going to be your aim, or right trigger is going to be fire, your grenade's going to be on one of the bumpers, and clicking in the right stick is going to be your melee by default, and B is going to be crouch. But like in Halo 1, you click the left stick in, that crouches you, but if you let go of the stick, you stand up. So you have to click the stick and move in the direction to be able to move crouched. And it's kind of hard because you're not used to it. Like, I'm sitting there trying to hold the joystick down with my left thumb, and I almost don't even have like the thumb endurance to be able to hold it through some of the things. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't even aim with the triggers, right? You have to do the other stick. It down.
Yeah, you click the right trigger or the right joystick in, and you'll zoom in, but only on some guns.
Yeah, I think it was just the handgun and the snipers in that game, particularly.
Yeah. I think in the second one they added like every gun now has the like zoomed in rectangular view, but it didn't have necessarily a crosshair or anything.
And they added the dual wield in the second.
Yeah, super weird how things have changed in that.
It's crazy. I haven't played Halo 1 forever.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. We used to like just get into those like local match, like just when you're playing against whoever's with you at the time. And you just take the Warthog or any vehicle, and you just run into each other. They just bullshit and go flying. I think it's the funniest thing ever that it used to be like that.
I have so many good memories of Halo as just kind of a party game.
Yeah, it really was.
And I'm really disappointed that in the fifth one they took out split screen.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. So I can't remember if 4 had it, but for sure 1 through 3, you could sit down with at least 4 people on one console and play. And if you really wanted to get 16 people and 4 Xboxes and do a LAN party, you could. And
that's possible.
That is some of my favorite high school memories, is getting together with all the buddies and doing that.
Yep. Halo, I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah.
It's not good. Not good.
What do you feel is the most popular genre out there in general? What do you feel like people are talking about the most?
I think first-person shooters up there.
I definitely agree with that.
And I'm not real familiar with all the genres, but like the Wolfenstein, like the one you're talking about, it's also up there. Like, it's in top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
With Skyrim, that's one of the biggest games ever made. You know, everybody loves Skyrim.
I would argue that Wolfenstein falls under the first-person shooter. It's not multiplayer, but I mean, it's a first-person shooter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With guns and everything.
That's true.
So I would almost argue that the first-person shooter is the most popular genre.
If someone tells you I game, you're probably gonna think
Call of
Duty, Battlefield, anything with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, is Fortnite considered first person? It's not in first person. So it's an RPG, right?
No.
What is it? what is that genre?
A third person action shooter.
Action shooter.
Yeah.
I don't really remember what RG is. RPG bird eye view games.
RPG is role playing game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's first person, third person, and third person can be over the shoulder or top down or anything where you're looking at your character from outside the body, basically. And I feel like with movies and video games, genres kind of mold together. Like, you asked what Fortnite is. It's a third person action adventure shooter. I don't know.
Yeah, they just kind of mix.
You could almost combine anything into whatever. Like, an RPG is you being able to take control of a character and play the game as if you are them and maybe have some choices along the way. I'd almost argue that almost every game falls under that because you are taking control of a character and playing through the game as them. Now, RPGs usually have, upgradable weapons, upgradable armor of some kind, magic maybe, and choice is a really big thing in RPGs. So, I mean, you could kind of maybe narrow it down that way, but Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I would be really for calling that an RPG. You're playing as Link, but I mean, the choices of what you do is completely up to you. There's a inventory management you have to worry about. Do you have the right gear to make it into this part of the world, or are you going to freeze to death? Or are you going to light on fire? Are you going to get struck by lightning because you're wearing metal? Like, I feel like a lot of that can fall into an RPG. But if you Google what is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as far as a game genre, it's going to come up as an action-adventure game. And I don't know where we can draw the line in that.
With your explanation what an RPG was, like anything basically is an RPG. Because you're playing a role as a character and you're playing through the game. I
think what would kind of draw the line is choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to pick A, B, or C? And does that change how the ending happens? Or does that change different paths along the way? Something like that.
So if you can alter the game, but by your choice, we can consider that. That's where they draw the line.
That's where I personally would.
Okay.
So like in Call of Duty campaign, you don't really get choice, and that's not going to change anything. So I would not consider that an RPG. But would you consider that an action-adventure game? Yeah, definitely. I think I would.
Yeah. I agree with you. But yeah, first-person shooter, very high on the list of most popular games made, I would say.
Yeah, I think they get a lot of bad publicity too.
They do.
Because, the shootings that are happening, they're blaming violent video games for that. At least a lot of the politicians are. And that's not necessarily correct, but some of those biggest games are military action shooters where you're going to run in and shoot people and grenades and shoot up hundreds of people all at one time. So yeah, I can see that from the outside looking in. But I mean, like, fighting games are really big. Action adventure games are really big. A lot of people out there are talking about Outer Wilds as their game of the year. You don't do any killing in that game. It's strictly just exploration and trying to figure out what the heck's going on in this little solar system. So I feel like people from the outside looking into video games,
they just see everybody's shooting people in these games.
Yeah.
They don't notice those other games that they've been playing, and they only notice first.
What games are marketed the most? What games are the most popular at the moment? That's going to be Call of Duty, Activision, EA with Battlefield, and Epic with Fortnite.
Yeah, they're either seeing Fortnite, Madden, or Call of Duty.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah,
or
that's the biggest game.
Battlefield. But I mean, like, you can look at sports games or whatever, but also out there is like the stuff like Minecraft.
And a lot of people still play Minecraft.
I still play Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a big game that a lot of people that don't necessarily play games know about. But it's definitely those Activisions and the EAs and the Epics advertising and promoting their violent shooter games that's kind of soiling everything.
Because if you've played a Call of Duty, like, other than the Modern Warfare 2, there's not really any acts of terrorism going on with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're really trying to prevent that.
Yeah. But I think it's the fact that you pick up a gun and you shoot another person, whether that's in the campaign or if that's in the multiplayer. Both ways, you're still doing that exact same thing.
And they're trying to make it look as realistic as possible, too.
Yeah. So. Well, and some of those Call of Duties, I mean, you can shoot somebody in the arm and their arm falls off. You can throw a grenade and you'll see body parts flying everywhere.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
I noticed they did not add that in Modern Warfare.
Do you think that'll come?
I don't know, because that hasn't... I don't think I've seen it in a Call of Duty since World at War. I'm not sure, though.
Has it been in... I can't remember. Has it been in campaigns? Because Because I'm curious if that kind of stuff they'll save for campaign, because they've got so much processing and everything on the multiplayer side other than body parts flying everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be strictly a campaign or if they're just kind of done with that.
I mean, I don't see the necessary point of it being in there.
I don't either.
But, like, I don't know.
Some people want their games the most realistic possible, and that definitely does add realism to them.
It does. You have to shoot someone in the arm quite a bit for it to fall off with a 5.56 round, but
I don't know.
If it's a bigger round, like, and you're throwing a grenade at them, yeah, make body parts fly. But some guns don't add it in because they're smaller.
Yeah,
you know?
I could see that. Maybe shotguns.
Yeah, shotguns like
or
that'll
snipers
make...
or grenades. Maybe those three.
Any explosive, really. Yeah. So we'll see if they add it in. I don't know. They haven't added in the alpha mode, which I expect them not to show a lot in alpha.
It's only that one 2v2 game mode, right?
Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're going to show all the guns in it either yet.
Oh, I hope they don't.
I don't think they have. Because I've only seen 3 assault rifles, 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And I know they have more than that. And there's only 2 shotguns that I've seen in it. So, and I've seen 2 different snipers, and I know they have more than that. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think they have real good potential to kind of start the franchise off. As much as I hate the fact that they're just rebooting and kind of reusing the same thing, I feel like they're kind of running out of ideas, but I think they're doing it right, at least from the stuff that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that Treyarch already came out and was like, that Call of Duty sucks, ours is going to be the best one. I thought it was funny that the game hasn't even been released yet and they're already talking crap.
Yeah.
Which I personally love Treyarch. Like, they're one of my favorite Call of Duty makers, so developers.
I kind of like having, even if they're working for the same corporation, I like that ours is going to be better than yours type of mentality, because I think that's going to help push the genre and the games forward.
I think they kind of let go of that, and that's why they kind of went down the shithole for a while. Yeah,
I feel like everything was, well, I don't know. Maybe that's what people want. It's Call of Duty with a different skin every year.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. What sets a Call of Duty apart from another one has typically been the campaign and the setting, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going back to their roots and they're doing more Modern Warfare and more Black Ops, Vietnam, World War II era, what's going to kind of set them apart other than skinning it differently?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe that's what people want, and maybe that's what Activision wants because that makes money. But it'd be really interesting to have Call of Duty be just a military-esque action shooting first-person shooter, and let these other companies kind of have creative direction to take it in. I'd almost be interested to see, like, if they implemented more Halo-esque gameplay, where Halo isn't necessarily, like, realistic, but it still handles really well, and you could maybe even just skin Halo as a Call of Duty, and that would almost put you in the realm of Infinity Warfare and everything like that.
Yeah, because what they tried with those Call of Duties, they tried making it realistic, also super futuristic, and it was just not good.
Yeah.
So, like, they liked it for a little bit, and then they're like, all right, this is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the old stuff. I wouldn't mind if they had, like, so they have they used to have 3 developers. Now they're back to 2. But if they had those 3, one could be futuristic, one modern, and one old school. And they just did that in a trilogy every year. Boom, boom. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but you're going to run into I only play old school Call of Duty games. I only play stuff made by Infinity Ward. And maybe you do get that, but if they're having, like, I feel like Black Ops 4, as poorly I think they executed that. I mean, it's still a great game. It handles well, but they didn't add a campaign. They just kind of shoved it out into the world. I feel like that can stand and compete as far as player base with Modern Warfare that is coming out, because I feel like it's going to handle very similarly and everything. I mean, update graphics, maybe make it handle a little better. It would be really interesting to make gunplay completely different. So, like, make Modern Warfare the ultra realistic. You're going to have a lot of recoil type of thing, and have whatever they want to do, maybe more futuristic, but have it like laser guns, like you point and you shoot and that's where it's going to go type of thing. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I personally love Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I hate that they didn't add a campaign because they still had a story to tell.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I think they ended. I think they should have just called it something else. It shouldn't have been Black Ops. It didn't need to be.
Yeah.
But
Black Ops 5
got a lot of hype behind it. That's what the name did.
Yeah. Black Ops 5, they said they were adding a story, so that's cool.
I'm curious if they'll keep the same setting or if they'll...
It's in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about that. The blackout mode's really cool. Yeah. I like that.
That looks cool.
I just love how it's just so many memories in the Treyarch era games, like all in one big ass map.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. So, enough of Call of Duty.
We've
spent a lot of time on Call of Duty.
People that listen to us are going to be like, these guys really lean towards Call of Duty. That's really not what we are.
No.
But I think we're both really excited where Modern Warfare is going.
It's insane.
And it's got a lot of new excitement in it, at least for me. I haven't been huge into Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3. And so this is really kind of upping my excitement, upping my hype and everything. And I feel like you're kind of the same way. Yeah,
I mean, I played Black Ops 4. That was like in the World War II. But like, I took that 4-year break. I was like, fuck Call of Duty. That's retarded, you know?
I think we're just really excited.
Yeah,
it's really nice to see a good feeling, kind of back to their roots Call of Duty game.
But, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be a cool game.
I think gaming is going in a really good direction. There's so many good games out there. And I've been really trying to focus on expanding my horizons as far as genres go. I know you said you've tried to do that same thing, but I have really, really, really tried to. And I've really been gravitating into indie games. These games made by smaller developers that don't have a ton of money behind them. A lot of them handle and feel and look amazing, but these are the kind of people that take risks. These are the people that are going to implement different gameplay mechanics and everything, where I feel like those bigger names, when they're putting hundreds of millions of dollars into games, you can't really afford to take risks, because if that risk doesn't stick, you're out all this money, and that could be make or break for your studio. So it's really nice to kind of see these smaller independent creators taking those risks, because if they spend, I mean, it'd probably suck if you spend 6, 7, 8 years of your life developing this game from concept to release and it just doesn't stick.
Yeah, that just sucks ass. That would suck.
But I mean, like I said, Hollow Knight's my favorite game of all time. That's made by a team of 3 or 4.
It's insane.
Yeah,
and it looks really good.
It looks good. It handles great, and their storytelling is good. I love the music and the environment and everything. So I mean, I don't know. It kind of scares me that these big developers are kind of pushing out those little guys. And are we going to see games kind of gravitate more towards the same thing?
I think the little developers will kind of come out again, because like you said, the big developers are pushing away, you know? But with Stadia and like with the Switch coming out, I think they kind of get to come back.
Yeah, a lot of indie games end up on PC. That's the easiest thing to put it out on and everything. But a lot of them have been pushing to come out on the Switch, because that's kind of a really easy platform to put it on, and you can take it on the go. These games aren't graphic powerhouses, and so it's going to be a lot easier to run on the weaker hardware. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, because if you play on a console, you're like, I want the best shit.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to look good.
And that's kind of disheartening, too, is the people that are buying consoles, are they only buying it for Call of Duty every year? Because, I mean, Call of Duty's on PC now, but a lot of people think it feels weird to play on mouse and keyboard when Call of Duty's always been controller.
But funny thing is, Call of Duty did start on a PC.
That's very true.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if I can do mouse and keyboard on anything. I've never really tried, but this looks weird.
It's definitely a learning curve. I don't have a big gaming PC or anything, but I've played a few games on PC with mouse and keyboard. It's different, but
have you
it's
seen
not
the
hard.
mods like on Minecraft?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! You can make that game do anything. Yeah. In any game that you play on PC, you can literally do anything with it. It's crazy.
A lot of them, yeah. Like Skyrim's one of the biggest things. There's people that have taken Skyrim and completely changed it into a new game, basically.
Yeah, they just put a new skin on it, basically. You can do anything with it.
Yeah, and it's not even a skin, like custom textures and everything. They're basically using the physics engine and the like combat system and everything, but they make their own games. It is amazing to see what these people can do.
I seen a video today of Red Dead 2 on a PC, and some dude was just playing as like a little kid, just beating the shit out of other people.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the like YouTube videos and everything don't do PCs justice.
No,
because most of my YouTube consumption's on my phone, and I feel like I'm not going to get the 4K ultra experience watching on that small little screen. You can't distinguish between. I feel like on a phone you can't distinguish between 720 and 1080 sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you just can't fit that many pixels into that small screen.
I agree with you. Like, those PC screens they're amazing.
And I feel like without being there, you can't even experience it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I don't know. The path that video games are going on, at least through the eyes of myself trying to open my horizons to other games, is really exciting. There's so much stuff out there. There's so many things to try and experience. And with how easily people can get their games out there, those indie developers make some great games, and it's getting easier and easier to find them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited about future games and all that.
Yeah.
They're getting good.
Yeah. What's funny is I play a lot of the games that I play are on the Switch, just because it's super easy. I can just pick it up and go, or I can take it to work and play it at lunch for a little bit. And that's where almost all the indie games that I play are on. And it's funny because on my Xbox, I'm mostly like big AAA games, and I have a really hard time sitting down at my TV wanting to play some dinky little 2D platformer game. Like, I don't know if I could sit down and play Hollow Knight on my TV. I've tried to like dock it on the TV and play, and I just get bored. I don't know what it is, but I just love picking it up and playing it on the Switch. I think everybody needs to, if you're an indie developer, just shove it on the Switch, and I think you'll get so much better publicity and everything.
Yeah. I need to take JC's Switch with me more and start playing it.
It's such a good console. There's so many good games. And like we talked about in our last episode, it kind of feels like the year of the Switch, because all those other two consoles are dying down right before PS5 and whenever the next Xbox is going to be called. So Switch is really just pumping out some killer titles, and it looks like they're not going to stop anytime soon. I mean, they've got some big hitters that potentially could be coming out in 2020 as well. So
yeah, I think Nintendo really came back, swung big, and really hit it.
Yeah, they took a risk. They definitely took a risk, but
it's paying off for them. It's really cool.
I wish more companies would look at gaming like that and take risks. I mean, Nintendo's always been like that. They've always been the first one to motion controls, the first one to play with a tablet with a console attached to the TV and stuff. But PlayStation and Xbox are, here's your console, here's your controller. The controller almost looks the same as the last one.
A little bit smaller, a little bit better.
You're going to be able to play your games at higher resolutions, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Switch doesn't put out 4K. Most games, are, if you play in handheld, they're 720p. They're not amazing. Like, if you play even first-party Nintendo games, they look good, but if you look at the characters, like Mario Party, for example, this is one that I was looking at. you select your character and you can see there's hard lines. Like, you're not this smooth character. It's, you're going to have sharp line, corner, sharp,
Mm-hmm.
and it works, but it's not amazing.
They don't really care. They just want you to have fun while you're gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care how it looks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, I really liked how this conversation worked. We definitely didn't stick with what our favorite genres were, but we kind of branched out and just kind of thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
I think next week we're going to take a deep dive, more like our Call of Duty episode, into something. So that's something to look forward to.
If you have any suggestions, message us on Instagram.
Yeah, message us on Instagram, Gameaholicspodcast. We started a Facebook page, Gameaholicspodcast as well. YouTube channel, same thing, Gameaholicspodcast. The only thing that we can't get the same is stupid Twitter, Gameaholicspod1. Feel free to email us. Our email is gameaholicspodcast@gmail.com. Email us. We'll shout you out. We'll read it on air. If it's a good topic, we'll maybe even make a whole episode about it. But let us know what you're currently playing, what your favorite genres are, anything like that. Don't forget to like, rate, and share the podcast. We should be on every major podcasting app. If we can get some more listeners onto the Apple iTunes store, we'll get a lot more traffic. We're just really trying to get this into the ears of as many people as possible. And anyway, any closing remarks, Archer?
Like, rate us 5 stars, give us a comment. You guys have an amazing day.
Yeah, keep on gaming, and we'll see you again next week.